Well, good afternoon, everyone. We welcome you to lovely Greenbrier, Arkansas. Beautiful day for some soccer. No rain, no wind in the forecast. Perfect afternoon for soccer. Glad you're with us. We're going to play the boys' game first. They're going to do the national anthem. Everyone real quick. We'll take a small break, and then we'll get some Bomber soccer for you here up next on the Bomber Sports Network.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for the national anthem. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, they've gone through the national anthem, the whole song and dance that they go through before a lot of games, and we're about to get ready here in Greenbrier. Mountain Home Bombers have come into this game with only one conference loss so far. 13-1-2 on the season. Greenbrier 6-2-1. They don't have some games reported on Scorebook Live, but that's okay. This is game number 17 for the Bombers this afternoon. They only have one loss on the year, and that was to one of the best teams in the state, the Russellville Cyclones. Again, glad you're here with us this afternoon on the Bomber Sports Network. We'll go through the starters for Mountain Home. William Bevel, Alvaro Salas, O'Day Alcalde, Kelso Hott, Isaiah Kemp, Austin Gray, Jacob Bisdall, Ivan Vega, Sergi Carmona, and Aiden Sanders. The 11 for Mountain Home. Don't have the starters for Greenbrier. Actually, I just got a text. Yeah, here are the starters for Greenbrier, if I get their names correct. Jimenez Angel will start. Number 0, number 5, Ian Smith. Victor Alvarez, Lucas Osborne, Matt Maline, Noah Tice, Trevor Hall, Liam Clements, Cody Demers, Parker Roberts, and Isaiah Kelly. Stephen Brasher, head coach of the Greenbrier Panthers. As we're about ready to get things going through here, as they are finishing the starting lineups here at John Hanks Memorial Field. Brand new press box they got over here. Overlooks the brand new part of the high school that they have built. For football, American football.
Number 42, Parker Roberts. And number 28, Isaiah Kelly.
As we're about ready to get things going here. So Greenbrier will start with the ball. They'll be moving from left to right in front of us here. They're in their home all blues, little white trim, white numerals, a couple white stripes on the road uniforms, white tops with blue numbers, a little bit of gold in there, blue down the officials. And here we go. We're off and running here in Greenbrier. Play 2 40-minute halves. They're going to play the boys' game first, as they normally in this conference they will play whatever JV played first. And they'll go from there. So it's bounced to the outside as it'll go out of bounds. Looks like it'll be left to right in front of us here. Or excuse me, right to left. I can't get my directions correct. As it's thrown in inside the 18-yard box, bounce back out, and Greenbrier has possession now. About a minute into this one, no score. And this will conclude the first half of play in the 5A West for both clubs. Both games have played one less game than everyone else. This game was moved due to the storms that were going through Central Arkansas. This shot close to on frame goes wide of the net. And it'll be a goal kick for the Bombers. So pretty much in this conference, whoever plays JV that day will play the first game, as normally it used to be the girls will play first and then the boys, regardless of who played JV. But for the sake of time, they're just doing it this way, because both teams will be pretty much warmed up by the start of the varsity game. You can get things rolling quicker. In Mountain Home and Scorebook Live's rankings, they are number, what number were they? I have it on my note somewhere. They're number 14 in the state. It's about 170-ish schools in the state of Arkansas that offer soccer, at least on the boys' side. And Mountain Home is number 14 in those rankings on Scorebook Live. A lot of good wins, a lot of good ties on the season. As it's bounced to the middle of the field. Good attack outside the 18-yard box. Now it's spread wide. Might see a little James Douglas here later in this game. James has been out lately with a injury to his hip. So we might see some James Douglas minutes here at some point in the ball game. He'll be wearing number 10, so keep an eye on him. It's not a very deep bench for Mountain Home. They'll play about 4 kids off, as they'll have 4 kids off the bench. It'll be 5 today. And we're going to see how he was in warm-up and then go from there. So good clearing kick out to the far side. Nobody's really had it possessed real well in their own third of the field. Mountain Home had 2 good looks at it, but nothing just amazing. As it's bounced down to this side, as it's knocked away. Mountain Home pushing ahead on the counterattack. Comes Aiden Sanders. Sanders kicks it out wide to a sprinting Kelso Hott. Kelso lost it out of bounds. I believe it's going to stay with Mountain Home. Yeah, glad you're with us on the Bomber Sports Network this afternoon. The girls' game will play about 7:30. We'll have that one for you here. Got 2 more soccer live streams for you this year. We're going to hit the road to Alma, and we're going to go to Van Buren with our teams. Got 1 more baseball, 1 more softball. Last baseball broadcast of the regular season, as they will take on Farmington this. Then we will hit the road in 2 weeks, as Lady Bombers will take on Greenwood in a Lady Bombers sitting currently 2-4 in conference play at softball. Boys, Bomber baseball boys, 5-1. Coach Greg Crow's squad's playing. Mountain Home in a 3-2 on how it shifted, or a 3-5-3, or 3-5-2, excuse me, with O'Day in the back. About 5 minutes into this one, as it's shifted back to the near side, Mountain Home with possession. Comes Zane Durack, who's into the game. Durack lost it. Over the backspin, and it's bounced back to Greenbrier. This is a gritty Bomber bunch. They'll have their next game will be Friday, as they'll take on Siloam Springs, a game that they won at Siloam Springs about 3 weeks ago. Of course, this is a makeup game with the weather that ravaged through the state of Arkansas. This game was moved from last Tuesday to today. This was the built-in off section of the soccer schedule. It was built-in off day. It was really tomorrow, but they moved it to today. They couldn't play it really Wednesday or play it any later this week. Otherwise, teams would be having to play back-to-back, and if they could have prevented it, they tried to do so. So it's bounced to the near side. Alvaro almost got a foot on it. Greenbrier not really able to get anything going so far. Bombers doing a good job playing defense, as they've had 5 behind the ball. Almost a handball. Sanders clears it out past the midfield stripe. There is some wind this afternoon. Not blowing too hard, but from where we're at up here, blowing fairly decent, but down on the pitch it's not. A little nifty move to try to get past the defense there, but it was knocked away by Matt Moline. Moline, excuse me, tried to kick it backwards. Ended up going to the foot of Isaiah Kemp. So Mountain Home with the ball. It's going to go out of bounds. It'll be a throw-in for Greenbrier. Bomber boys did not come up victorious in the JV contest, as they lost that one by the score of 2-0. 2-0, those of you soccer fans at home. Get good opportunity. Come watch your Bomber soccer team on Friday. They're one of the better boys teams in the state, as they'll play a game that ended up getting chippy toward the end of it, but it was a good game as this one's launched toward the net. The wind's going to pick this one up and keep it in, as the goalie's not going to touch it until it goes out of bounds, and it'll be a goal kick for the Panthers of Greenbrier. It's our final trip to Greenbrier this school year. Ball comes down to Greenbrier. They've only really had it past their own 40 twice in this game, but they've coughed it up both times. As it's pushed ahead, they try to get it down to the boot of a Panther, but it'll roll out of bounds, and Mountain Home will have a throw-in. They tried to get it to Lucas Osborne, but he just missed it. Bounce to this side. Sergi wasn't able to corral it and settle it down. Instead, it'll be hopped to Ivan Vega, or Ivan Vega, excuse me. About 9 minutes into this one, 0-0 our score here on the Bomber Sports Network. Tell your friends, join us on here. Got a handful of broadcasts, a couple regular season ones left. Only have 4. Got 2 more soccer matches and another baseball and another softball the rest of the year. We'll have baseball for you, as this shot is scooped up by the keeper of Greenbrier pretty easily. Not much onto that one, but we'll have Bomber baseball for you on Thursday. They'll be on the road at Farmington, Northwest Arkansas, a couple minutes south of Fayetteville. First pitch of that one will be 4:30. We're only going to have the varsity game. Then we have 2 more trips, as Mountain Home will be taking on Van Buren and be taking on Alma. We'll have those games for you. And then we have another softball contest, as they'll take on Greenwood. And then whatever happens in the state tournament, we'll try our best to get there. Greenbrier's got a tack on, one-on-one in front of the net, and it goes wide of the net. Bombers got lucky there, as O'Day was wondering where his defense went. Very, very lucky by Mountain Home, as Lucas Osborne saw nobody in front of him between him and the goalie, and he just missed it. He flat out missed it. Well, Mountain Home going to need to tighten up the defense. First real good opportunity for either side so far. So Greenbrier pushing hard on the attack now. We're past the 10-minute mark in this one. They play two 40-minute halves. As it's skipped to this side. Mountain Home trying to clear it out of there. They're not able to. Comes down to the boot of a blue jersey. As Victor Alvarez has it now, it's skied in the air. Wouldn't quite fall down to a white jersey, but Greenbrier still keeps possession. As we have a whistle and a foul, it's going to go against Greenbrier, and it'll be a free kick for Mountain Home. So it'll be a free kick. They're waiting for, there's a Bomber and a Panther over there that are tying their shoe. As it's bounced down, came down to a white jersey, got knocked away, and the keeper for Greenbrier is going to scoop it up. Wasn't a half bad look for Sergi Carmona, but he got knocked away. It was a clean play, and Mountain Home loses possession. Great job by the keeper of Greenbrier. Good punt. Witt picked it up a little bit, probably carried it an extra 10 yards. Not a flag around anywhere to really tell you how fast the wind's blowing. At least up here. Actually, the flags on the field they're not standing straight up, but there's enough wind to get them flapping in the breeze as Mountain Home comes up with a possession. Greenbrier has had 5 guys behind the ball on defense for the entire match so far. Their style of play, I believe they're content with this one being a 0-0 game or a 1-0 game. Hopefully not in their favor. So O'Day sends this one down the field. It's bounced near the 40. It's going to come down to a blue jersey, and it's skipped ahead. Didn't go right down to a white jersey, but in pursuit's Ivan Vega, as he wasn't able to get it. Now bounce in the air, Kelso Hott tried to come up with it as it's almost knocked out of bounds, but it stayed in play. It's now along the far sideline. Mountain Home trying to keep this one in front of him. Austin Gray keeping this one in front of him. Great job by him as this now skipped to the middle of the field. Isaiah Kemp got a foot in there. Now it's cleared out now by Jacob Bisdell. Comes down to the. It's going to go against Sergi Carmona. I believe it was a handball, or not a handball, excuse me. On the far end, Isaac substitution of the game for Mountain Home. He'll get Jacob Bisdell. Free kick will be taken from their own 22. Greenbrier has it now. It's been one really good scoring opportunity to 0, as Greenbrier had one right square. But Mountain Home was able to avoid calamity there as it was blown wide. Check the B, so they say. Let's see. Worry about any hazardous weather. Top here on the new press box at Greenbrier. 7 to 10 mile an hour. As I box. So the wind was able to move that shot to the there. As Sergi tried to come down with the wind wreaking havoc, and he picks it up cleanly. Final game of the first half of conference play for both teams. Every team in the conference has already played. Let's see who that is. I believe it's Kelso Hott. Blonde-headed children on this team as it came down. Wouldn't come to a white jersey. It's bounced down to a blue jersey. It's cleared out. It's going to go out of bounds. Mountain Home have a throw in about the 35. As it'll stay with Mountain Home. Wouldn't come down. Wasn't able to be cleared out by Greenbrier. Mountain Home just not able to get anything going here. They're packed in pretty deep. Panthers are packed in pretty deep. A lot of guys inside the 18-yard box as a lot of contact away from the ball, but it's scooped up by the keeper of the Panthers. So he'll just roll it to his right. As Sergi Carmona was in pursuit, now it's skipped ahead. Greenbrier trying to knock it ahead. Alvaro Salas kicked it back. Jumping the pass and getting in front of it was Dirac, and Alvaro kicks it ahead. Sergi, but he wasn't able to. Handful of substitutions over on the side for Mountain Home. As Dirks Beauregard will come in. Dirks Beauregard, I can't see who the other one is. Let's see if we can see a number. That's Jacob Bisdell. It's back in. Couldn't see. Hard to see where we're at. From our vantage point, they're pretty small. So, as this is bounced in front of the net, and it's scooped up again by the keeper. This keeper's pretty solid from what Coach Kreiner told us. This one's knocked out of bounds. It'll be a goal kick for Greenbrier once again. A lot of brand new stuff here at the Greenbrier Field here. It was John Hawks Memorial Field, excuse me. Brand new track that they had just completed right in the middle of basketball season. It's bright Panther blue. It's good look. It's a light blue. It's not the same blue that they have on their logo and their end zone. Brand new video board, brand new press box that they had done right before football season went underway. So Greenbrier with the ball now. Skipping ahead along the near side. Tried to get it around Kemp. They won't be able to. Kemp still in pursuit. Still tried to get it in front. Nobody was there for the cross as it'll go out of bounds and be a goal kick for Mountain Home. About halfway through this first half of action. Glad you're with us here this afternoon. They're playing the boys game first. JV boys did not come up victorious. Bomber boys lost 2-0. They played a 40-minute running clock session at 4:30. They had an issue getting officials here for the JV contest. Of course, it's a strange time. You know, it's Monday afternoon at 4:30, so it's not the usual Tuesday or Friday that most soccer across the state is played during conference season, as this one's toward the net. It went off the post. Bombers trying to clear it out of danger. Kemp gets a foot on it, and it's cleared away. The wind brought that one back. I think O'Day thought it was going to go out of bounds, but the wind caught it and brought it back toward the post. Bombers avoid danger there as it skipped ahead past the 20-yard line, and it'll go out of bounds and stay with Mountain Home. We'll have a throw-in. It'll be Dirks Beauregard to throw it in. Actually, he's going to hand it off to Kemp, as we're under 20 minutes to go now in this one. Still no score in this one. Kemp gets it in right in front of the net. The wind brought it back, brought it off frame. Mountain Home trying to corral this one. They give it to Sergi Carmona. Sergi trying to cross it toward the middle of the field, came down to a blue shirt, and it's cleared away. It'll be a throw-in for Mountain Home about halfway through the football end zone. As we'll have a substitution for Mountain Home and a substitution for Greenbrier. It'll be Zane Durack coming back in. Zane Durack, a sophomore. It's crossed in front of the net. In front of the net, they score! It came right down to the foot of Dirks Beauregard, and the Bombers have the lead 1-0. So the Bombers get on the board early on. 1-0 our score here, and the Bombers are on the board with 18:55 to go in the first half.
Home goal, number 14.
Excuse me, that was Jacob Bisdell. Beauregard was right in the area, but I think it hit off Bisdell at the last second. But 18:55 to go in the first half. Bombers now have the lead. So the goal's credited to Jacob Bisdell. The first contact was from Dirks Beauregard, as it was a perfect throw-in. It came down to the foot of him, as the official's going to have a word with the coach of Greenbrier. Something there that he didn't like. So play will resume, and the Bombers have a 1-0 lead. The Bombers on the board, 1-0. Was a throw-in for Greenbrier, and it's bounced out of bounds. It's going to be about at the 50-yard line for the throw-in. Greenbrier will have possession. 18:25 to go in this first half. Play two 40-minute halves in high school soccer, those of you that may be new at home. They don't play overtime. So if it ends in a tie, it ends in a tie. As this one skipped out about at the 50-yard line to the far side. Greenbrier just kind of playing keep away. Mountain Home pushing up as Yvonne Vega tried to step in front of that one as Mountain Home comes up with it. Wiggins headed it ahead, but it came down to a blue jersey. They were able to weave around Wiggins. They were able to weave around two other Bombers right in front of the net, one-on-one with the keeper. As it's knocked out of bounds, it'll be a corner kick for the Panthers. The first one of the game for the Panthers. They'll take it on the far side where it went out. This will be Victor Alvarez of the Panthers, a senior, that will take the corner kick. As they just get it just outside the 18-yard box on the far side. Bombers were collapsed in. Now they have to come back out as it's knocked in front of the net. Two wide open Panthers whiffed on it, and it'll go harmlessly out of bounds. It'll be a goal kick for Mountain Home. Couple more substitutions. If you take a look, there's James Douglas that has come into the ball game for the first time now, getting some playing time here. James has missed, I believe, the last 10 games, but he's still the leading goal scorer for this Bomber soccer team. He went down with an injury about a month or so ago and still leads the team with 11 goals on the season. So just having his presence will make this Bomber soccer team better than they already are. 16-16 to go in this first half. Bombers have the lead off a goal from Jacob Bisdell. It's really good to see James Douglas back on this field. Bombers still with the 1-0 lead. Again, when this Bomber team is at full strength, it's widely believed they can hang with anybody. I mean, even without him, without James Douglas, and they were missing Sergi for a game or two. I mean, they were able to go on the road to Harrison, which is always hard to win at, and get a draw over there. And they gave Russellville everything that they wanted. Bombers just had a bad 5 minutes or so. And they lost 3-1 to a team that was widely regarded as a team that could win the 5A. $14.50 to go in this one. Again, glad you're with us here on the Bomber Sports Network. We'll have the girls' game for you afterwards. As it's skipped ahead, it's in pursuit as it's picked up by O'Day. Good punt by the Bomber keeper. Comes down to the foot of a Bomber, Alvaro Salas, as he tried to skip it ahead to Kelso Hott, but it was knocked away. But Alvaro comes up with it again. He tried to load up and kick it deep, but the wind's going to push this one back in as it skipped ahead, this time to Ivan Vega. Vega trying to weave through traffic. A lot of contact. He's got his jersey pulled. They're still pulling on his jersey. A lot of contact there as it's pulled back to Alvaro now. Alvaro's got it settled at the 35. Now it's skipped back to this side to James Douglas. Douglas trying to get his legs back under him. He's practiced for the last week or so. Trying to work his way back into game shape as Anderak and can't break this one up. Couldn't quite get it to Douglas. Douglas was a little too far back. As it's bounced to this side along the sideline, goes out of bounds. It'll be a throw in for Mountain Home. Looks like Dirks Beauregard. Again, we'll hand it off to Kemp. Kemp will throw in after this substitution. Dirks Beauregard will come out of the game. Aiden. As it skipped this way, Douglas tried to kick it ahead. As Jacob Bisdell skies this one. Out of the midfield, Alvaro. There are 8 blue jerseys. Trying to keep this one in front of them. Minute of the ball game, or excuse me, the kick came down to the foot of Dirk. Now we're at 1-0. Again, we'll have 2 more soccer broadcasts for you at least. And actually, it'll be Van Buren and then Alma. So we'll have those for you in the Bomber. So we just loaded up and headed over to Greenbrier. Trip that we'll have. First shortest, of course, being it's only a 50-minute drive. This one's about 2 hours, depending on how you drive. You know, 2 more broadcasts in the regular season. If either team makes the state tournament, we'll figure out the streaming schedule. There's Douglas is in pursuit. He had a good look at it as the wind almost brought it back, but the keeper at Greenbrier knocked it away. Have our final regular season baseball broadcast that's scheduled at least as Bomber baseball take on Farmington. The Cardinals over in Northwest Arkansas. As a whistle and a foul, as Aiden Sanders had a handful of jersey. It didn't look like a whole lot of jersey compared to what was going on in the midfield about 5 minutes ago, but neither here nor there. It'll be a free kick for the Panthers. As Victor Alvarez will take this one. The wind skips it. There was a little cross breeze that shifted. Now it's going from right to left now. And now the wind's in the Bombers' favor now. Bombers on the counterattack. Douglas tried to skip it ahead. Not enough under it. As Mountain Home comes up with it again. Douglas weaving through traffic. Now back to Alvaro. Skip to the far side. Brought back to the middle now down to Vega. Vega up to Beauregard trying to cross it. As it's picked up by the keeper of the Panthers, who just rolls it ahead. As we're close to the 10-minute mark here in the first half. O'Day's going to pick up this rolling ball, and he'll wait for everything to clear, and he'll clear it down the field. High booming kick, going to bounce just past the 50 on the football field. Comes right down to Douglas. Sanders in pursuit. He wasn't able to come up with it. Isaiah Kemp's going to kick this one down the field past the 30. And now in pursuit is Mountain Home. Almost had a good-looking bounce. Douglas comes up with it. Now he's at the 20, trying to size it up, kicks it toward the net. The wind pushes it slightly out. Just missed it by about 1.5 feet. It looked like it was the last touch by Greenbrier, as they were going to say it's a goal kick instead of a corner for Mountain Home. As Alvaro and James Douglas were both contesting that the shot was last touched by. Once Douglas kicked it, the ball changed direction. So that led me to believe it was touched again, but don't exactly. Panthers come up with the ball once again. Again, they really Greenbrier, as they had a one. On the corner kick, as this will be a throw-in for Greenbrier with about 8:50 to go in the first half. Here comes Sanders. Sanders tried to skip it ahead. It was knocked away by Greenbrier. Greenbrier, contingent of Bomber fans, but a very, very nice crowd here in Greenbrier. Our girls have made it. They're getting ready for their contest there in the far bleachers. They'll play at about 7. Teams are on the road. There was about an hour and a half of weather delay. They didn't get. As stepping in there to break it up, Jacob Bisdell. Zane Dirac as couldn't quite keep this one in. It'll be a throw-in for Greenbrier. 7:40 to go in the first half. Glad you're with us here. Dylan Conley bringing you all the action. Minutes north of Conway, in the heart of Arkansas. Douglas a little shaken up after that. Side of the head, this will be a throw-in for Greenbrier. Greenbrier is one of the Bombers' opponents. There's a few in their conference. They'll play in every sport but football, Alma included. Alma and Harrison are not conference opponents, but they'll play Harrison in football. This one's up to the far side, running ahead, trying to cross. Wasn't able to cross as it's knocked out of bounds. Head over to Monfort Hensler, who's it's not a designated coaching area game, along with Jacob Bisdell, but American football play clock. Just keep tabs on everything over there. As it's sent in front of the net, came down to a blue jersey. It's going to be cleared out, but it comes right back down to a white. A lot of contact and a whistle, and we might have a stoppage here as we'll have a yellow card as the clock is stopped with 5:48. As it's a yellow card against the Bombers, as we do have a stoppage. So 5:48 to go to be a free kick for Greenbrier after the yellow card. I do believe he was going for the ball, he just mistimed it. So I don't think it was anything dirty over there. It's a good look at slide tackle, he just mistimed it. As clock is resumed, 5:46 to go in this first half. As it's bounced down to the foot of Alvaro. Bombers with the ball now. James Douglas did not exit the ball game. He was just moving over to the outside. Skipped ahead right to Sergi Carmona. Carmona working in front of the net. Tried to get it back to the middle, but there was a Greenbrier Panther there waiting for it. Comes down to the foot of Kelso Hott. Back to Douglas. Douglas slicing and dicing. Just tried to get something going. As it goes wide of the net, it'll be a goal kick for the Panthers of Greenbrier. .440 to go here in the first half. Ball settled in the midfield. Apologize there. We had a Windows update that tried to happen. Not really the ideal time for that, but put a stop to that so you guys don't miss any of the action. 4:10 to go here in the first half. Approaching halftime now. Bombers lead 1-0. They scored on a set piece around 23, 24 minutes to go in the first half. Came down to the boot of Beauregard, but Bisdell settled it down and put it in the back of the net for Mountain Home. .36 to go now. Mountain Home with the throw in, as Greenbrier will now throw in. Bounced came down to a white jersey. As Alvaro settled it down, skipped it ahead to Douglas. And James Douglas still the Bombers' goal scorer, or leading goal scorer, after missing nearly a month and a half. Douglas tried to settle this down as it's knocked around the 50-yard line. Sergi Carmona back to this side. Kelso Hott tried to get it before it went out of bounds, but he didn't get there in time. It'll be a throw-in for the Panthers. So Greenbrier with the ball. 2:22 to go in this first half. Aiden Sanders unable to get a hold of it. Greenbrier comes up with it once again. Since that one good scoring look, Mountain Home has done a great job defending the Panthers so far. Mountain Home was just discombobulated on that one play. Couldn't remember who it was. I believe it was number 6. Hit a wicked spin move and made 4 Bombers miss with that spin move and ended up one-on-one with O'Day. About 95 seconds remaining. James Douglas trying to put the moves on. Now gives it back to Hott on the far side. By Greenbrier. And Mountain Home will have a throw in. Douglas weaving through traffic in the middle of the field. Got 3 Panthers on. As it'll end up being a goal kick for the Panthers with a minute to go. Boys JV came up short. They lost 2-0 to the JV Panthers. Bombers leading this one 1-0. The girls will play after. The girls won their last match 3-1. Or excuse me, 2. As it skipped ahead, Kemp trying to break this one up. As it's knocked out of bounds, it'll be a corner kick for the Panthers. Down. With 15 seconds to go, Kemp shaking up pretty good. Take a peek at him. Nobody's gotten over yet, I guess. Coach Henry now hustling over there. Yeah, there's could be a coach over there for Greenbrier. So our next broadcast. Farmington. A lot of home events coming up here for Mountain Home. We have Bomber baseball and softball tomorrow at home. As big 5A West doubleheader for both teams. They'll take on Bomber soccer team. Will start the second half of conference play. As they're going to get Kemp looked at. They're just going to take him back to the locker room. On to the left, excuse me. There's a little storage shed, and then where they're set up at. In this half. As it skipped ahead in front of the net, came down to a blue jersey, was knocked away. As it'll be a off. There's 2 and 1 as it's. But that's going to do it for the first half of the board in the first 15 minutes. Time here on the Bomber Sports Network. We'll take a Second half here in about 9.5 minutes.
We'd like to take a moment to thank Alice Energy for their generous donations towards funding our
Well, we're back and ready to roll here in the second half. They have switched ends of the field. Mountain Home moving now from left to right in front of us here. Got a 1-0 lead. And a whistle and a foul to be a free kick. As it's got to be some form of delay game or at least a warning because the whistle happened. And number 9 for Greenbrier just kicked it as hard as he could down the field. So I believe the official is talking to him, telling them cut that out. Well, Mountain Home will have a good opportunity to start things off here in the second half. Be a free kick for Mountain Home. Alvaro and Yvonne both looking at it. Just past the 15. As again it hits the wall of Greenbrier and it comes right back down to the foot of Vega. Vega weaving through traffic makes a man miss. Gets it to the center part of the field. Now it's brought back. Greenbrier trying to clear it. Vega comes up with it once again as it's weaved back. And Greenbrier will send it down the sideline. Austin Gray cleared this one out. Still 1-0 our score. Again, Bombers only have one loss on the season this year. Came to one of the best teams in the state, Russellville. Bombers 3-1-2 in conference play. 3 wins, 1 loss, and 2 draws. The draws coming against Harrison, and who was the other one? Let's see, they have wins against Alma, they have a win against Siloam Springs, and they have a win, oh heck, I've forgotten. So the first thing that goes when you get old is your memory. So, as it'll be a throw-in, Kelso hot. Down to the foot of Alvaro. Alvaro tries to skip it to the far side to Bisdell. Bisdell in bright neon orange cleats. 37-27 remaining in the the second half. Lady Bombers will play after this one. They're coming off a conference victory against the Alma Airedales last Friday night against Alma. So Greenbrier pushing ahead. A little bit of an attack going on here as Bevel whiffed on it. It's going to go right to O'Day, who will just scoop it up. Again, glad you're with us here on the Bomber Sports Network. 2 more regular season broadcasts for soccer coming up. We'll hit the road to Van Buren, and then we'll hit the road for the last regular season road game of the year against Alma. In fact, that'll be the final regular season game of the year, so we'll know where both teams will be sitting in reference to the 5A West, certainly by then. Bombers in good position right now. Bombers and Greenbrier both a game behind everyone. As Kelso was deposited away, he was wanting a foul as he was cleared out pretty hard away from the ball as he comes up limping. A lot of contact away from the ball. As Isaiah Kemp is back in the game. He just had a stinger as it comes down to Bevel. Bevel going to wind up towards the net. It's scooped up by the keeper of the Panthers. So Mountain Home with the lead 1-0. They scored on a set piece about 15 minutes into the ball game. As Greenbrier trying to make something happen, they just give it right to the hands of O'Day. 5 minutes into this second half. 1-0 our score. Bombers will take the 1-0 victory. They'd like to add an insurance goal if at all possible. Because with a 1-0 lead, you could play a bad 10 seconds and then suddenly you're tied. Down home, maintaining possession pretty heavily to start this second half. Almost looks like Greenbrier's like gassed. A lot of contact away from right on the ball. Carmona still comes up with it as it's going to go against Mountain Home. It'll be a free kick for the Panthers. They're ready to send this one down the field. Bombers shifting their formation to a 3-2-5, trying to defend this lead, but still maintain on the attack when they're able. Every time a Panther comes up with the ball, there's 2 white jerseys swarming him at all times, like the Bombers have 15 out there. Kelso just keeping things contained in front of him as it's cleared out by Austin Gray. As a whistle and a foul. It's going to go against Mountain Home, be a free kick for the Panthers again. It's going to be right on the 0 in the 40 at the 40-yard line. Actually about the 41 on the football field. Panthers getting set. Mountain Home marking their men as it skipped ahead. Came down in front of nobody. It's going to be picked up by O'Day and sent down the field. Still 1-0 our score. 32:50 to go in this ball game. Lady Bombers will play next. That game will take place around 7:30. Could start a couple minutes early. But the way things are shaping up, I believe we'll start close to on time there. I don't know if they'll make up the difference and actually start at 7:30 or if they'll just call it, as Greenbriers now has the ball along the sideline. Kelso trying to knock it away. And it's going to be a free kick. For Greenbrier. Greenbrier's goalie will come out and take the free kick. As he whiffed on that one, kind of shunted it outside. It looked like he almost slipped right before he made contact. As a whistle and a substitution, Kelso Hott will come out of the ball game. Sanders will Beauregard will throw in. Skipped away, Bisdell in pursuit. He'll skip it back to Gray. Durack will sky it. It's going to bounce right down about the 30. Last touched by Mountain Home. As Greenbrier will have a throw in. Greenbrier now on the counterattack. 2 Bombers on him. Skip to the far side, right to the center of the field now. As Beauregard clears it, tried to clear it. Came down to a blue shirt. Now it's inside the midfield circle. Bounce back to this side. Bevel tried to come up with it. A lot of contact. Kid just bounced off of Bevel. Bevel didn't even move. As now it's cleared down on this side. Bombers still maintaining a 1-0 lead as we're around 10 minutes into this second half of play. Mountain Home more defensive minded. They've shifted their formation from a 3-2-3-2 to now a 3-2-5. as they've moved more defenders back to try to keep this a 1-0 lead, but they still have enough of an attack up front where they could still take advantage here if something opens up. Beauregard just containing the ball as we have a bomber down at midfield at the 20 as it's cleared out of bounds. Bevel cleared that one out as we have a bomber down. The clock has not been stopped, and it's finally stopped with 29:21 to go in the second half. Couldn't see who the bomber is that's down. Who was that? Could you guys see? Jacob Bisdell was the bomber that was down as they've stopped the clock finally. It was supposed to stop at 29:21. For whatever reason, they resumed the clock. So, clock in the stadium says 29:09 now. Now, it should be about an extra 25 seconds from that, but the official isn't really too concerned about those 20 or so seconds. So we'll play on as they'll get Bisdell checked out. Isaiah Kemp is back after that stinger right at the end of the first half. Isaiah Kemp's a pretty tough kid. Takes a lot to get him down. And glad you're with us here this afternoon on the Bomber Sports Network on YouTube. Handful of broadcasts left. We're getting close to the end of the school year. Two more regular season soccer broadcasts. We'll be heading the road to Van Buren, and then the last regular season game at Alma. Got another baseball broadcast for you. Final one of the regular season. If you can believe it, we're going to be on the road to Farmington. And then we'll have one more Lady Bombers softball game. We'll have the doubleheader at Greenwood. As it skipped ahead, trying to clear it out was Beauregard, but he wasn't able to. Stifling Bomber defense here. Ball's just being played within the midfield. Beauregard tried to break it up. He was able to at least knock it out of bounds. It'll be a throw-in for Greenbrier. 27:34 to go in the ball game. As it's thrown in over toward the official, right, bounced at the 35. And Mountain Home okay with playing defense as it's cleared out by Isaac Wiggins. He's had a little backspin on it, bounces and stays at the 47. Now Austin Gray will clear this one out down the far side, or the near sideline. It's going to hit the brand new track here at Greenbrier. It's a good looking blue that they have here. Got a brand new track, brand new press box. I believe brand new set of band bleachers over on the far side on the left. Visitors press box is good. Good football stadium. Again, later this fall, Bomber football team will be here week 10. More than likely, we'll have that game for you. So 26-26 to go in the ball game. Bombers maintaining a 1-0 lead. It'll be a throw-in on the far side by Greenbrier. Again, the Lady Bombers will play after this. As we have a whistle and a stoppage, it'll be a free kick. As Coach Kreider up here yelling to the official, that doesn't even make sense. I agree with, I don't really know why that was a free kick, but I'm not the official. So it'll be outside the 18-yard box. This is a dangerous situation if you're the Bombers. Good opportunity for Greenbrier. Free kick's on the way. They just pooch it and fry right to the left side of the net. They just miss it. A little bit of wind might pushed it wide. It would have been a goal if it was 5 feet to the right. And it's still 1-0 Mountain Home. So it's just a harmless goal kick for Mountain Home now. Glad you're with us here on the Bomber Sports Network on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. You'll get an automatic notification on your phone if you hit the bell anytime we go live. So you can stay up to date of all Bomber athletic streams. So Kelso Hot tried to get it ahead. It was broken up. Yvonne Vega with it now. Bombers on the attack now. A lot of contact on the ball as coming up limping, Sergi Carmona. Looks like he's okay. He's going to walk it off. As it skipped out of bounds, it'll be a throw-in for Mountain Home. And we'll have a whistle and a substitution. Be Jacob Bisdell coming back into the game. See if James Douglas makes another appearance in this game. James Douglas getting a workout on the sideline. He might check in probably close to the 15-minute mark if Coach Nathan Kreiner decides to do so. Greenbrier on the attack now. This is a dangerous attack as it's broken up by Austin Gray. And it'll be a corner kick for the Panthers. Corner kick number 3 in the ball game. Technically 4. They had a corner kick opportunity at the end of the half, but they weren't able to get there in time. So they've attempted 3, but they've been awarded 4. As it skipped in front of the net, trying to clear it out. Mountain Home trying to clear it out. We're wanting a handball. Mountain Home was wanting a handball as we have a Panther down, and we'll have another stoppage of play to get him checked out. There's a Greenbrier Panther down. As clock is stopped, 22:58 to go. You know what, folks, Greenbrier here, not in exactly any hurry to get folks checked out. Of course, we're lucky in Mountain Home we would have Lane Alexander or Callie Payton sprinting to check out whichever player is down. Compliments of Baxter Health. We're happy to have them on our side. Now 22:58 here. Clock is stopped as they finally mosey over to check on the Panther that's down. Obviously nothing major if they're just walking over there from the other side of the field to take a look at them. The officials giving a discussion. They're having a discussion with William Bevel and a member of the Panthers. Can't see his number. About something along the lines of the previous play. As still can't tell who the Panther that's down is. They're going to stretch him out. Looks like he's cramping up pretty bad. As clock is stopped here in the second half. They finally get him off the field, and we're going to resume play. It'll be, I believe they're going to award a goal kick. So the ball was soundly in possession by Mountain Home when play was stopped. Going to have things resumed here shortly, I would imagine. That's Cody Demers that was down on the play. Looks like it was either, looks like he was cramping up, might have been a stinger. They've walked about the field, or off of the field, excuse me, if I could grammar correctly. They have replaced him as they're going to resume play. Keeper, or the officials, just going to roll it to O'Day. It's going to be treated the same as we're going to pick up right where they left off, because O'Day did have full possession. He was ready to kick it away. Almost halfway through the second half, Bombers leading 1-0. Bombers trying to escape here with 3 points. Would move them, I believe, into sole possession of second place of the 5A West. Soundly in the playoff conversation for sure in the 5A West. After missing the party the last 2 years. Last year they finished 6 points shy as it's bounced to the outside as it's almost on frame and it goes just wide of the net. O'Day was on it. O'Day had it covered perfectly and it just sailed wide of the net. So the Bombers will escape with a goal kick. Now 21 and a half minutes to go here. Bombers still leading 1-0. Again, Lady Bombers will play after this. Scheduled time is 7:30. We'll get done with this game, provided there are no more stoppages around 7:10. So there'll be about a probably 15-20 minute warm-up as James Douglas is back into the game. Good to see him playing once again. First game back after an injury. Believe it or not, he missed about a month and a week of the season. He only played in 6 games, and in those 6 games, he had 3 hat tricks. So just having his presence will make this Bomber team already better than they were. I mean, they were the number 14 team in the state without him on the field. So as long as he can get back into somewhat decent game shape here for the second half of conference play, I mean, the sky's the limit, I really think, for this Bomber team. As this will go out of bounds, it'll be a goal kick. Or no, it'll be a corner kick. It's going to be a corner kick for the Bombers. 20-20 to go here. All right, close to halfway here in the second half. As we'll have a substitution, Isaac Wiggins will come back in. As it looks like Yvonne Vega will take this corner kick as Jacob Bisdell will exit the ball game. Here's Vega with the corner kick. A little too high. The wind's going to pick this one. Nobody had a shot at it. It went out of bounds. Wind picked up a little too much of it. And it'll be a goal kick for the Panthers. Panthers working quickly. They skip it down the field. It comes back to their own third. Still 1-0 our score. Earlier goal scored by Jacob Bisdell off the set piece. Be a throw in for the Panthers. It comes right down to Isaac Wiggins. Greenbrier maintains possession. Douglas in pursuit. Bombers just content with playing defense at the moment, picking and choosing their opportunities to go now that they have the lead, as it skipped to the middle of the field now. Back to the outside to this side. Bunch of white jerseys swarming the ball. They've shifted the formation back. They start in a 3-2-3-2, but depending on the situation, it could turn into a 3-5-2 or a 3-2-5. In this situation, it's a 3-2-5. Here's Douglas weaving through traffic. Douglas has a good look at it towards the net, got broken up in the middle of the 18-yard box. It's cleared out, lands at the 25, and Greenbrier will have the ball trying to counter, but it comes right back down to Mountain Home. Carmona. Back to the outside. Clears it back this way. Tried to bounce it down to Alvaro as they wanted a handball. They weren't going to get one. I believe it hit him right in the chest, and Greenbrier sweeps this one up. $17:56 to go in the ball game. Glad you're with us here on the Bomber Sports Network. Again, you can catch this Bomber soccer team in action at home as sprinting down the sideline, shielding it from the ball. Great job by Austin Gray, one of the better defenders on this Bomber soccer team. Kelso Hott with the ball now. You can catch this Bomber soccer team back in action at home at Bomber Stadium Friday night. Can't think of a better way to spend a Friday night than night at Bomber Stadium. The Bombers came up victorious 2-1 against Siloam Springs earlier this year. The first game of conference play. Bisdell settles it down. Now he's weaving past the 50. Still in the middle third of the field. As James Douglas is trying to slice and dice through traffic. It's pulled away. Greenbrier trying to counterattack now. As it's knocked out of bounds. And Gray will toss it off to Kelso Hott, who will throw in right at the 50-yard line. Sun's starting to set here. As this one will roll out of bounds, it'll stay with Greenbrier. 7 white jerseys ahead of where the ball was, so the Bombers are content to play some defense for the final 16-18 of the ball game. As O'Day picks this one up with 16 minutes to go. Go off the head of a Greenbrier Panther and be a throw-in for Mountain Home. Kelso Hott will throw in. As Alvaro, couple nifty moves, keep it away from a Panther, as this one's knocked out of bounds and will be a throw-in for Greenbrier, as we'll have 3 new Panthers come in. And the Lady Bombers will play at 7:30 this evening. This one will get done about 10 after the top of the hour. It's 7 o'clock. I would guess about a 15 to 20 minute warm up, and then we'll get things going in the girls contest. Since they changed the scoring rules a couple years ago, there's no longer overtime. They won't go to PKs or play an overtime session, at least until the state tournament. So here's James Douglas sizing things up. Now he's going to go. Across the 30, across the 20, got past 2 Panthers. As Greenbrier breaks it up. Comes down the sideline, now to the middle of the field. 3 white shirts around him. Now it's skipped to the outside. Kemp in pursuit, along with Zane Dirac. Bombers thwart that attempt by the Panthers as Alvaro comes back now on defense. Alvaro and Yvonne Vega, the only ones moved up, and now Alvaro's kind of moved back to play some defense too, along with James Douglas. Suffocating defense by the Bombers here in the second half. Greenbrier's had issues to get it into their own third. Tried to clear it out, they weren't able to. Comes down to a blue shirt, tried to kick it towards the net, and Kemp broke it up. And now here comes Kelso Hott. Here come the Bombers on the counterattack. Skipped ahead or past the 30. Vega was about a step too slow to get to that one, as now he comes up with it. Vega back to Douglas. James Douglas looking. Good little through ball. Good touch on that one. Kelso hot with it now. Tried to clear it. Centering pass, excuse me. And it's scooped up by the keeper. Outside of that one miscue in the first half, their keeper's done a very fine job this evening. His name is Angel Jimenez. Angel's a senior this year. He's done an excellent job. As it's right in front of the net, if he's onside, the Bombers lead 2-0. And he is onside. It's a goal for Alvaro Salas, and it's 2-0 Mountain Home. So put another one on the board. 2-0 our score with 12:24 to go in the ball game. Off the boot of Alvaro Salas. We had to wait to see if he was onside. The center official talked to the AR, gave him the thumbs up, and he was onside, and it's 2-0 Mountain Home. With 12:24 to go in the ball game, some substitutions coming onto the field for Greenbrier. James Douglas has exited the ball game, trying to stagger his minutes. He's only played about, by my guesstimation, about 20 minutes in this one. So with it being 2-0 now, Bombers getting a few fresh legs out there. Jacob Bisdell's back on the field. Austin Gray has now shifted more towards the midfield as they launch this one toward the net. Wasn't even close, but this is by about 10 yards to the right. And it'll be a goal kick for Mountain Home. 11:54 to go in this one. As Ivan Vega tried to skip it back down to Hot on the near side. Wasn't able to. Comes Ivan Vega. Vega working ahead down to the 20 ahead. Right to Sergi. Sergi tried to get it to go. Collided with the keeper. It's going to go out of bounds and be a corner kick for Mountain Home. So it'll be a corner kick for Mountain Home. It'll be Alvaro Salas who will take this one. Bombers leading 2-0 now after the goal from Alvaro Salas. Alvaro and Jacob Bisdell with a goal in this one. As you can see, the Lady Bombers starting to come out of the locker room. Get their game going in about a half hour as this one's to the front of the net. Couldn't come down to a white shirt. Finally does. Kelso puts it through the football uprights. And it'll be a goal kick for Greenbrier. With about 10.5 minutes to go in the ball game. As it was knocked out of bounds, it'll be a throw-in for Mountain Home. Gray will throw in. Came right down to a blue shirt. Bounce to the far side now. 10 minutes to go in this one. Bombers with a 2-0 lead. I'll have the girls' game for you. Here at about, it says it'll kick off at 7. This one's bounced to Alvaro. Alvaro trying to skip it ahead to Yvonne. And now Kelso Hot comes up with it. Bombers on the counterattack. Kelso sizing things up, waiting for guys to get in position. Now to Sergi. As it's knocked out of bounds, Bombers will have possession. It'll be a throw-in. Kelso gets it back to Alvaro at about the 35. Now it's bounced to Carmona. Touch pass to Kelso as it'll go out of bounds and be a throw-in for Mountain Home right at the edge of the sideline. Kelso Hott will give the ball off to Isaiah Kemp, who will throw in just to the left of the corner flag with 8:48 to go in the ball game. Kemp right in front of the net, bounced over, hit the head of Sergi Carmona, but it went over the goalpost. Eight and a half to go in this one. Greenbrier trying to get in the half. Mountain Home with the ball again. Kelso Hott. Bounce back to Bisdell. Bisdell over to Hott. Hott working the near sideline as Greenbrier comes up with it. Greenbrier on the counterattack. Settled down by Bevel. Or excuse me, Zane Durack. Bevel's behind him. Kelso in pursuit of the ball. 3 white jerseys around 1 blue jersey. Mountain Home comes up with the ball now in the counterattack. Yvonne Vega pushing ahead at the 45. Greenbrier comes up with it again. Now they push it back past midfield. Try to get it to the far sideline or go out of bounds. They mistimed it. It'll be a throw-in for Mountain Home. The throw-in comes right down to a white jersey. Mountain Home push it ahead as Alvaro kicks it straight up. Wind picks this one up. It bounces near the 25 to the head of a Greenbrier Panther. Comes Sergi Carmona. Carmona tried to push it ahead, was knocked away. And now Greenbrier on the counterattack. Isaiah Kemp tried to break that one up. Mountain Home was successful. Now they have it again. Kelso Hott on the near sideline. Comes Kelso. See what Kelso can do is a lot of contact as it'll be a free kick for Greenbrier, much to the dismay of Mountain Home faithful. Didn't look like a whole lot of contact, but it was called a penalty and a free kick. Throw in for Greenbrier now. 6:15 to go, excuse me. So 6 minutes to go in this one. Bombers holding on to a 2-0 lead. Number 14 team in the Scorebook Live rankings. We'll have the updated rankings tomorrow. Certainly a win here will bolster their chances to move up as we have another substitution. Wind's starting to die down here. It's probably less than 3 or 4 miles an hour. Two 2-0 our score, 5.5 to go here in Greenbrier. Sergi with the ball toward the middle of the field as he's knocked down. Greenbrier on the counterattack now. Alvaro Salas tried to settle it. Greenbrier still with the ball. Alvaro picks his pocket. Kelso Hott comes up with it. Trying to get ahead to Sergi. Sergi does the splits. Now he gets it back. Kelso weaves through traffic. Now the Bombers have something going here. Kelso launched toward the net, but it was broken up by a Panther. Kelso still with the ball. Inside the 18-yard box now as Gray thought about launching it. Couldn't get anything on it. Excuse me, that was Aiden Sanders. Now that's Austin Gray. Clears this one out. Goes straight up. Comes down to the head of a Panther about the 35. 4.5 to go now. Bombers looking to add another 3 points to their record. If the score holds, they will be 4-1-2 through the first leg of conference play. Again, the way the conference works, you get 3 points for a win, 1 point for a draw, and no points for a loss. And here in about 3.5 weeks, they'll take the top 4 teams with the most points. They'll go off to the Class 5A state tournament. Bombers in pretty good position here, as this is the final game of the first round. This game was supposed to be played last Tuesday, but the weather that ravaged the central to northeastern part of the state came through here, and they moved this one to today, as there was a built-in a bye day on Monday/Tuesday for teams to play a game, if snow happened or any weather like that happened. So it worked out perfect. Bombers are going to be off tomorrow anyway. As it's bounced to Sergi Carmona. Carmona trying to make it 3-0. Carmona launched toward the net, tried a centering pass. That comes close to Beauregard. Kelso settles it down. Now it's bounced back to Sanders. 3:10 to go. Sanders with it again. Weaving through traffic. A lot of contact on the ball. As it skipped ahead, it'll go out of bounds and be a goal kick for the Panthers. About 2:40 to go in this one. Bombers with the lead. Trying to hold on to the lead and nurse this one to the end. Austin Gray will throw in. So 2-0 our score. About 2 minutes to go in this one. Bombers trying to make it 3-0 now as it's cleared out. So the Bombers will be back in action April 14th, this Friday, as they will take on the Siloam Springs Panthers in game number 1 of the second leg of conference play. .90 seconds to go in this one. Bombers could feel it now as a whistle and a lot of contact, a lot of pushing and shoving, as we'll have a stoppage. They're certainly going to hand out some cards here, or at least talk to everyone, as they will have Alvaro walk toward the sideline as he will get given a red card. Alvaro Salas has been given a red card by the official. Coach Nathan Kreiner's incensed, and I don't blame him. I can't believe that, as they've given Nathan Kreiner a yellow card. That's unbelievable. So Alvaro's just leaving. So now the Bombers will play with 10 for the final 1:18 of this one, as Alvaro Salas is sent off with a red card. Coach Kreiner is not pleased, and I don't blame him. So I'm just wondering how that's the only card given in that one. So you had 8 kids in a scuffle, and you only give him a card. That's interesting. But the result after that is a free kick for Mountain Home. So that's the second red card of the year for Alvaro Salas. So Alvaro's been sent off. He did not receive a yellow card in the start of the game at all. He hasn't received one all game. So it's just a hard red card, and I believe he will have to miss the next game on Friday, unless something changes and they get something going appeal-wise from AAA. But that's a big hit to take. I mean, regardless of what happened, you just hope cooler heads prevail. So 2-0 our score. Bombers cruise into a victory, but they may be without the services of Alvaro Salas in the next game on Friday. So 45 seconds to go. The Bombers will have to play with 10 for the final 40 seconds, but I don't think it's going to matter. Oh, it's cleared down as... No. No, yes, they only have 10 on the field. So, yes, Bombers are down a man for the final 16 seconds of this one. Greenbrier pushing ahead, but that's to the center of the field. Bounced off the top of the crossbar, but Mountain Home can take their time. They might not even have to kick this one. Down to 2, down to 1, and that's going to do it from Greenbrier, Arkansas. The Bombers come to Greenbrier, close out the first half of conference play with a 2-0 victory. They finish 4-1-2 here in the first leg of conference play. But in the final minute of the game, Alvaro Salas was given a red card. And that's going to do it tonight. So the final score, Mountain Home comes up with the victory, 2-0. Dos a cero, for those of you that watch soccer. So they put about 15 minutes on the clock here. They're going to go through the handshake line. So again, come on out, Bomber Stadium Friday night. Bomber boys will be back in action as they'll take on Siloam Springs. So that's going to do it from Greenbrier Panther Stadium. Bomber boys win this one 2-0 as they close out the first leg of conference play 4-1-2, 4 wins, 1 loss, and 2 ties. But we're going to take a short little break, and we'll have Lady Bomber soccer here in about 14 minutes here on the Bomber Sports Network.
headquarters of a team of over 50 associates right here in Greenbrier, located under the big flag. Don't forget, we're open until 9 o'clock Monday through Friday. So enjoy the game. Stop in and visit us today or at firstservicebank.com. Member FDIC equal housing lender. Go Panthers.
We're being certified. Come on, Olivia.
Okay. That far?
No, that's not our camera.
Oh, I meant that far, but like. No, but I'm just talking at the bar.
We should have got a drink.
Well, we can. Okay.
We'll get one at a time. I don't know. I can't. I did too, but not really.
Well, hello, Bomber Nation, and welcome back to Don Jones Stadium at John Hanks Memorial Field. Glad you're with us this evening on the Bomber Sports Network. Game number 2 of the evening be the Lady Bombers taking on the Greenbrier Panthers. Of course, the Bomber boys coming up victorious in game number 1 tonight. 2-0, excuse me. As we're ready to get things underway, Greenbrier will start with the ball. Moving from right to left in front of us on your screen as well. Lady Bombers moving from left to right. Greenbrier in their home all blues. Blue jerseys, blue pants, blue socks, white numerals, and a white stripe across the front. Mountain Home in their road whites, blue numerals on the front, gold trim, blue shorts, and white stockings this evening. And the starters for Mountain Home: Campbell Lance, Abby Chamberlain, Faith Paget, Willow Larson, 4 seniors, Lily Hinson, Jaden Davis in net for Mountain Home. Kenna Medley, Kendra Medley, Kelsey Blackwell, Abby Dettelbach, and Kendra McLean. A starting 11 for Mountain Home, as I don't know what's taking so long, as they had to change officials for some reason, as they have, it looks like a student and formerly the announcer on the far side are now the AR for this game. So the gentleman that was the announcer for the boys' game is now the assistant referee on the far side. He's not even in uniform. He's in flip-flops, for goodness sake. And a student on the near side, believed to be from Greenbrier, and a regular official in pink. So my goodness, this is already interesting. But we're underway here in Greenbrier. Glad you're with us this evening. The center official wearing all pink. It's very, very interesting start to this one. So 1 minute into this one, no score. Lady Bombers coming off a victory in their last matchup as they took on the Alma Airedales. As it'll be, that was a goal kick, but it's going to be a corner kick. So it'll be a corner kick for Greenbrier. As it's sent in front of the net, Davis is able to scoop it up. Again, glad you're here with us this evening on the Bomber Sports Network. Bombers came up victorious game number 1 this evening, 2-0. Dos Acero. And Mountain Home moving from left to right in front of you here. Ball's played around in the midfield. Greenbrier 1 spot out of 4th place, sitting currently 5th, couple points out of 4th. So this is an important game for them. Mountain Home sitting 7th currently. Only have 3 points so far here in conference play, but they're still within reach. Put together a couple good games in a row, and we'll see what happens. 6-5 on the season. They're 1-5 in the 5A West. Greenbrier is 1-4-1 so far in conference play. As Lady Bombers will welcome the Siloam Springs Panthers to town on Friday evening. 36:40 to go here in the first half of play. Still no score. Ball's being fought for in the midfield. Lady Bombers set up in a 4-4-2 in their formation this afternoon. Trying to stack up the midfield. Keep a couple good athletes in the back there. Hopes of playing some sound defense. It'll eventually shift to a 4-2-4 depending on the score. Or they'll move another one up from the midfield to try to push the attack depending on when that may be. Throw in for Greenbrier. Bouncing around at the 30, knocked out of bounds. It'll go, it's hard to tell. It's not the official we had in the previous game, not even, to my knowledge, a certified official. As I was listening and during warm-up, the gentleman that's now the VAR official was begging folks in the stands to work the scoreboard for $20. So interesting things going on here. But anyway, the center official we've had before. We had him in the previous game. We've had him a couple of other times along the course of the year. I believe he was the center official down in Arkadelphia. Directly at the start of the year, as we'll have a substitution. 6 minutes into this one, still no score. Just kind of skipping around in the midfield. Nobody's had a real big opportunity so far. No one's had a good look at it. Let me rephrase that. Be a throw in for Mountain Home as it comes down to a blue shirt. And we'll go out of bounds. I believe it'll be another throw in about 10 yards to the right. And Coach Skylar King on the sideline. Of course, mentioned Siloam Springs on Friday. Last time Mountain Home played Siloam Springs, he was not there. Coach King was going through some heart issues, which is not good, especially a man of his age. But glad he's got good health so far as we know, and as far as he's told me. So we're glad he's here with us. Glad he's coaching along with Coach Tyler Blaisdell. First year on the sideline, helping Coach King out. Of course, his assistant last year, Coach Biggs, moved on to Farmington. Speaking of Farmington, we're going to have broadcast for you from Farmington on Thursday afternoon. It'll be Bomber baseball as they'll take on the Cardinals over there in Northwest Arkansas. First pitch of that will be 4:30. We'll only have the varsity game for you. Should be a good one over there. Farmington's pretty solid ball club year in and year out. Of course, Farmington and Mountain Home have met a few times this year. Of course, Farmington's boys and girls came to the Christmas tournament, won both ends of it in the basketball tournament. Of course, their girls were state champions. Boys lost in the semis. In Lady Bombers softball, we played them. Lost 13-3. Of course, it was over at McLean Park. As this one is ran out of bounds, or no, it's close to running out of bounds. It's going to be finally run out, and it'll be a throw in for Greenbrier. Dangerous position if you're Mountain Home. As it's bounced down, now back outside the 18-yard box. Tried to be punched back in. Comes down to a white jersey. Faith Padgett tried to clear it out. Bounce right down to Greenbrier. Now bounce. 31.5 minutes to go in this one in the first half. This will be a goal kick. Jaden Davis will send this one down the field. As they'll go out of bounds and go back to Greenbrier. Nine minutes into this one. No, just dangerous threat from either side so far. But as both teams wear down, certainly some gaps somewhere will open up. As Lily Hinson pushes it through one defender. It's knocked down. Hinson couldn't get a foot on it. Greenbrier pushing ahead now. Back to the middle of the field. Bounce back this way. Campbell Lance tried to get in front of it, but Davis is able to scoop this one up. Diving to her knees. And she makes the save. And she'll punt this one down the field. Good punt. This one will bounce past the 45. We're going to keep rolling as it comes down to a blue jersey finally. This will be a free kick for Mountain Home. Looks like Kelsey Blackwell will take this one. About the 36-yard line on the football field. Just under the 30-minute mark here in the first half. Kind of smoky around here. Like someone somewhere burning brush, but a lot of smoke around the area. As will be a throw-in for Mountain Home. It's pushed ahead, bouncing at the 20. Hinson tried to come down with it. Hinson wanting to break open and use her speed. As it's bounced out of bounds, and it'll be a throw-in for Mountain Home. As it's thrown right to a blue jersey inside the 18-yard box. Hinson tried to come up with it. Hinson working, weaving back through traffic, trying to go through a defender, and a whistle, and a foul is called. It's going to go against Greenbrier. So it'll be a free kick for Mountain Home outside the 18-yard box on the right side. So Hinson will take the free kick just on the edge of the football sideline. As she'll send this one in toward the middle of the field. It's going to go out of bounds, and now it'll be a corner kick for Mountain Home as it bounced off the chest of Greenbrier Panther. So it'll be a corner kick for the Lady Bombers as it's set back down to Kelsey Blackwell. Bounce to this side to Kendra McLean, and a whistle. And a violation will go against Mountain Home. And Greenbrier will have the ball now. Inside the 18-yard box be a free kick. As this one's rolling, comes right back down to Medley. Pair of sisters, Kendra and Kenna Medley. That one came down to Kendra. As this one will be a goal kick and a substitution on the far side as you have a Lady Bomber that'll have to exit. Looks like she has a nosebleed. Can't tell who that is. I believe it's Willow Larson. Oh, Larson will exit with a nosebleed. Get that checked out. Coach Tyler Blaisdell on the case there on the sideline. See who came in for her. That's Bella Dotson, one of the sophomores of the Lady Bomber bunch. 13.5 minutes into this one. Here in the first half of action. One good attempt by the Lady Bombers off one corner, but they weren't able to get anything out of it. Nothing our score here. 26-20 to go in the first half. Bomber boys are victorious 2-0. The JV boys lost 2-0, however. Catch Bombers and Lady Bombers in action back home at Bomber Stadium on Friday. In Siloam Springs, they'll have 2 consecutive home games. They will have Siloam Springs on Monday, then they will welcome the Harrison Goblins to town Tuesday night. As this one's rolling around, Kelsey Blackwell comes up with it. Blackwell trying to push it ahead. It's knocked away. It's going to stay with Mountain Home. It'll be a throw-in on the far side. As I believe it's Dee Martinez who threw it in there. .25-15 to go in the first half. Still nothing our scores. Davis comes up with this one. Good punt by her. Bounces past the 50-yard line. Comes down to a blue shirt. As Mountain Home trying to corral this one and launch a counterattack. Hinson tried to corral this one. She whiffed on it. Skips past the official. And now Dotson trying to come up with it as well. Martinez sends it back. Dotson couldn't come up with it. And now Greenbrier pushing ahead. It skipped back now this way as Lily Hinson trying to turn the Jets on and couldn't break free. Was about a step too slow on that one. .16 minutes into this one. As a whistle and a stoppage. As not exactly sure what the stoppage is for. As ball sent to the official as a Panther stepping off. The clock is stopped. As the clock is still not stopped. The clock is still, it's still running. The clock is still running. Nobody's paying attention in the press box as the clock is still running. There's been about 35 seconds that have run off the clock because they refused to stop it. 23-10. Finally they stop it. Should be 23-51 when they stop the clock. Of course, the gentleman that finally got the attention of the clock keeper is the gentleman that was previously the clock keeper and announcer the first game, but he had to come down and officiate this game, and he found someone in the bleachers and paid them $20 to come up and work the clock, and so far they're not earning that $20. As they've now put on more time than was originally up there. It's just 24 minutes flat, and the official said, all right, that's good enough, we'll just play. So we're continuing on as Hinson comes down with it. As Medley sends it ahead, try to get to Hinson. Hinson turning on the speed now. Now on the outside, trying to get back to the center. Hinson toward the front of the net, bounce down. It's going to roll just wide. It's broken up, and Mountain Home had a golden opportunity to score, and it was snuffed out by the keeper of Greenbrier. A golden opportunity pushed away by the Panthers keeper, and the score stays 0-0. So Greenbrier comes down with it. 23 minutes to go in this one. In the first half, that is. As it's skipped back, Mountain Home comes up with it. Blackwell trying to clear it out. She whiffed on it, and Greenbrier comes back up with it again. It's slide tackle by Blackwell to knock that one out of bounds, as we'll have some substitutions. Willow Larson got her nose plugged up now. Yeah, she'll come back in the game. .22 left in the first half. Again, glad you're with us here this evening. Beautiful night for soccer. A little bit of a breeze, about 3 to 4 miles an hour. Blowing towards the video board. Over toward the north end of the field. All right, to cool down a little bit as Larson's in pursuit of this one. As it's knocked out of bounds, going to stay with Mountain Home. As knocked away, it will be a goal kick for Mountain Home. So Jaden Davis will launch this one down the field. Bounce right down to the head of a Greenbrier Panther at the 20. Now the Bombers have to get out of some trouble here. As Medley sends it out of bounds. It'll stay with Greenbrier. Skipped in front and a whistle, and it'll be a free kick for Mountain Home, just outside the 18-yard box. Well, skip down the field. Finally comes down to a Panther, and a whistle and a foul is called. It's going to go against Greenbrier, and the Lady Panthers has something to say about that one, but official's not going to budge from that one. Good booming kick down the field. Settle down around the 40. Still 0-0 our scores. We passed the halfway point of this first half. As it's a throw in for Mountain Home. Skipped to the far side. Dee Martinez was there. As this one will roll gently out of bounds and be a goal kick for the Panthers. "19 minutes flat to go here in the first half of action here as the ball's being fought for in the midfield. Now it goes to the middle third of the field. Now almost at the midfield stripe. Greenbrier on the counterattack now. Skipped ahead as stepped in front of by a Lady Bomber. Faith Padgett steps in, or not Faith Padgett, excuse me. As Willow Larson has it now as almost out of bounds. Went along the sideline. Ball gets past Campbell Lance, but it'll go out of bounds. Last touch by a Lady Panther. So here's the throw in for Mountain Home. Comes right down to a blue jersey as it's kicked out of bounds by Kelsey Blackwell. .17:45 to go in the first half of action. Still no score. Lily Hinson had a good look at one earlier on a good cross, but it rolled within a foot of going in the net, but it was knocked away by the keeper. Yeah, throw in for Mountain Home. Martinez will throw in. Try to bounce it down to Hinson as it'll go out of bounds and stay with Mountain Home. So Martinez will throw in again about 15 yards to her right. So bounce back this way. Comes down to a white jersey. Greenbrier has the ball now on the counterattack. Comes Greenbrier, good looking at it. Good looking shot at it. Was knocked away by the last line of defense for Mountain Home as it'll roll along the sideline. Lance launches this one straight up. Comes down to a blue jersey. Now it's skipped ahead. Campbell Lance will launch this one again as it's bounced again to a Greenbrier jersey. Down to the 40. Pushed ahead. Nobody was down there, but it's cleared out to the opposite 35. As Bella Dotson's in pursuit. She's playing up along with Willow Larson. And the Bombers in a 4-4-2 formation. More offensively minded. Of course, the middle of that could shift to become a 4-2-4, depending on how the game's going. Or they could move one up. A lot of things you could do out of this formation. Ball's bounced across to the right side of the 50. Now back this way. Campbell Lance clears this one out. Only went about 15 yards as Martinez comes up with it. She's able to keep it in bounds and launches it back. As it's in front, down along the side, in front of the net, Davis swoops in and picks that one up. Just in the nick of time. And she clears this one down the field. She's had really good punts tonight. These bounces around at the 50. Still rolling, down to the 25 to where it'll be picked up finally by a Panther at the 20. Now picked up back to this end. Dotson was in pursuit, but knocked away by Greenbriers. Now they're on the counterattack once again. 14:50 to go in this first half. Well, again, glad you're with us here this evening on the Bomber Sports Network. As we have a whistle and a substitution. We'll resume play with the throw in. Martinez tried to get it down to Medley. Wasn't able to do so. Still nothing our scores. We're closing in on halftime. As Hinson came down with it. Now inside the 18-yard box, gets kicked straight up. Nobody in pursuit of it other than a Greenbrier Panther. As this will go out of bounds and be a throw-in for Mountain Home. About at the 15-yard line as it's just thrown in there right to a Greenbrier Panther. Here comes Kelsey Blackwell. Over to Willow Larson. Larson tried to load up and knock that one through the net, but she whiffed on it. Now Greenbrier on the counterattack. Skipped ahead. And bounce to the outside. Lady Bombers swarming the ball. As knocked out of bounds, will be a throw in for the Panthers. Yet our next broadcast of Bomber Athletics will be this Thursday, as we'll have some Bomber baseball for you as a pair of subs come in, one for each side. That's some Bomber baseball for you at Farmington, the final regular season broadcast of Bomber baseball, scheduled at least. We'll have two more for boys and girls soccer as this one's launched high up towards the net. Davis just missed the side of the net. It's kept in bounds. Thought it was out of play, but it was ruled out of play by the far official. And it'll be a goal kick for Mountain Home. So Jaden Davis ready to kick this one away. Still nothing our score. He'll hit the road with them to Van Buren, and then for the final regular season game of the year at Alma this year. .11:30 to go here in the first half. And Lily Henson trying to turn on the speed as she finally comes up with it. Now Greenbrier sets up their defense. Henson makes a girl miss as it's knocked away. Now Greenbrier has it. Right back to Blackwell now. So it'll be a throw in for the Lady Panthers. Now it's bounced to the outside. Here comes Greenbrier. Dee Martinez steps there, not Dee Martinez, excuse me, Kendra Medley on the near side. As Campbell Lance will knock this one out of play. It'll be, depending where the official said, should be just a throw in. Close to the corner flag. Ten minutes to go on the first half timer. As it's thrown in, bounce to the head of Campbell Lance. Greenbrier now has it in the middle of the field, knocked away. Mountain Home trying to clear it out as it goes right down to a Mountain Home jersey, but it's going to be a corner kick again for Greenbrier as it goes out of bounds to the right of the goal. A 9.5 to go in this first half, still no score. Both sides have had two good attempts at a goal and weren't able to cash in. Third corner of the game for the Panthers as it's bounced down in front. Just bounced harmlessly out of bounds, hit the side of the net. And it'll be a goal kick for Mountain Home, and here's a substitution. Greenbrier comes up with it again. Mountain Home trying to get their ducks in a row. Now it's centered. Right over to Davis. Davis, it bounced straight down, never went in, and Davis comes up with it. Oh my goodness. So the Bombers escape danger. The far official never signaled if it went in or not. If you want to call him an official, as it hit off the crossbar, bounced straight down and then straight up, and it was scooped up by Jaden Davis. So it's another throw in for Greenbrier on the far side. 8 minutes to go in this first half. As it's bounced back to the middle. Greenbrier trying to make something happen. Mountain Home comes up with it. This is Medley. Kelsey Blackwell weaving through traffic in the midfield. Across the midfield stripe, a whistle and a foul's called. It's going to be a free kick for Mountain Home about at the 45 or so yard line. So free kick for Mountain Home, about the 44-yard line. Sent down by Blackwell. Came down to a blue jersey, but it came down to the boot of Hinson. Now it's cleared out by Greenbrier. Greenbrier trying to launch a counterattack. Blackwell corral this one. Now bounce back to the opposite side. As a lot of contact, a whistle, and a free kick will be called. As the fans applauding the foul call there. 6.5 to go in this one. Kelsey Blackwell take the free kick about the 33-yard line. Launches this one inside the 18-yard box. Nobody there. Hinson finally appears. Scrambling around for it is the keeper for Greenbrier, and she comes up with it. She clears it down the field. Ball scrambled around in the midfield. Now it's bounced back. Willow Larson sent it ahead. As a whistle and a free kick, a foul against Mountain Home. It's going to be a Greenbrier free kick. About 5:40 to go in the first half. $5:20 to go here, and a whistle and an infraction on the free kick. I believe the official didn't blow his whistle to signal for the free kick to begin, so they just reset. It comes down to a blue jersey. Under 5 to go in the first half. Ball in the middle of the field. Campbell Lance clears it out of there, cross midfield. And cleared out once again by Medley. Hey, blue jersey's back. Lily Hinson in a full sprint. Hinson on top of it. Hinson comes up with it, kicks it toward the net, and it's a goal for Mountain Home! Lily Hinson swoops in and puts the Lady Bombers on the board 1-0. So 4:21 to go in the first half as the clock's still running for some reason. As they finally stop it at 4:14. Lady Bombers are on the high side now, 1-0. So Greenbrier now finds themselves down 1-0. Having severe issues with the clock getting stopped. Of course, that's what happens when you just beg someone to do it. As Greenbrier on the counterattack quickly. They're begging someone to do it. They finally paid someone $20 to do it. As it's in the 18-yard box. Mountain Home trying to clear it out. Skip to the far side. Greenbrier still launching an attack as it'll get knocked out of bounds and be a corner kick for the Lady Panthers. As it's centered in front of the net, Henson clears it out. So Greenbrier trying to make something happen once again. Ball still in their third of the field. 3:16 to go, and a whistle, and push in the back. It's going to be a free kick. So the Lady Panthers will have it right on the 30-yard line for a free kick. 3 minutes to go in this first half. Lady Bombers marking players all over the field. As it's set in front of the net, Davis comes down with it, tried to scoop it up, comes down to the boot of a Panther, tried to get it in. Davis kicks it away. Willow Larson's there, and now they get it out to the outside. As it's centered in again, comes down to a white jersey, and it's kicked out of bounds finally for a throw-in. So Greenbrier trying to launch one as it's knocked out of bounds. It'll be a throw-in. With 2 minutes to go in this first half. So it'll be a throw-in for the Lady Panthers. As it skipped inside the 18-yard box, came down to the head of a Lady Bomber. Now Greenbrier trying to mount something here as they Lady Bombers have 10 girls back as Lily Henson's the only one up top. As we're down to 90 seconds to go in this first half. So Greenbrier along the far sideline once again trying to center it. Faith Padgett breaks it up. Lady Bombers got to get it out of there. Now Mountain Home pushing ahead. It rolls out of bounds. It's going to stay with Greenbrier. 70 seconds to go in the first half. As the throw-in comes down to Greenbrier, Mountain Home trying to pick it up as we're under a minute now. Here it comes down to the near sideline. Greenbrier trying to get something to go as it's bounced to the middle of the field. As Kenna Medley tried to clear it out, but it went out of bounds, so it worked just as good as it's a throw-in for Greenbrier. Now to the left of the 18-yard box. Lance clears it out of the 18-yard box, but comes down to a boot of a Panther as it's kicked into the track and field pit. And it'll be a goal kick for Mountain Home. 10 seconds to go. Davis gives it right back to Greenbrier. As this one will go kicked to the left of the net. And Davis doesn't even need to kick this one. And that'll do it for the first half of action. And we've reached halftime. So Lady Bombers find themselves with a lead here at halftime. Trying to go for their second win in a row. 1-0 our score. This is the Bomber Sports Network on YouTube. We'll have the second half of action here for you in just a couple minutes.
Huh? Oh, I don't know. You could try it.
No. I don't like red ones.
Oh, I don't like my throat. Okay, so this was. That was what I said. That was what he said. I don't even know what to say back to that. Like I don't. I know that sounded like really crazy. And like I just. It was no, not like red rose. Oh, I know. I can never fit it over my head.
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome you back for the second half of action here. Lady Bombers got a goal on the board off Lily Hidson's heady play. She was able to turn on the Jets while Greenbrier had their back turned and were a little lackadaisical. She took advantage and punted one through the back of the net. And that's how we stand 1-0. Kind of shaping up sort of the same way the boys' game did. Boys came up victorious earlier tonight, 2-0. They got a goal in the first half. And then they were able to get a second one late, and that one finished off 2-0. So hoping for more of the same here in the second half. So Mountain Home will start with the ball. They're now moving from right to left now in the second half. Greenbrier moving left to right. Temperature's kind of chilled off here. Now we're into the low 60s. Very nice evening here in Greenbrier. And the Bombers and Lady Bombers will be back in action Friday evening at Bomber Stadium. Come out and check them out. Lady Bombers won their previous game against Alma 1-0, and they're ahead in this one 1-0. So Greenbrier with the ball as we're about a minute into this second half. I'm glad you're with us here this evening. You can come out and support on Friday evening, Bombers and Lady Bombers, as they'll take on the Siloam Springs Panthers. As it's finally cleared out by Greenbrier, Mountain Home spending a lot of time so far here in the second half in the opposing third. Greenbrier with the ball, comes down to Willow Larson. Larson trying to make something happen. As Blackwell just kicks it down to the far side. Now back to the middle to Lily Henson. Henson just kicking it ahead. It'll go outside. It'll go out of play. And it'll be a goal kick for Greenbrier. So Greenbrier launching a counterattack against the Lady Bombers as it'll go out of bounds and be a throw-in for the Lady Panthers. Now, 3 minutes into this second half, still 1-0 our score. Good stop by the keeper of the Lady Panthers. This one's punted away, punted straight up. Comes down at about the 40, where it'll be settled down by the Lady Bombers. It'll go out of bounds and be a throw-in for Mountain Home. Chamberlain wasn't able to settle it down, but it's still possession of Mountain Home as, well, now it's turned over. Greenbrier trying to mount something as it's rolling around the 50 as it'll go out of bounds and be a throw-in for Mountain Home. Bella Dotson will throw in. Dotson throws in, tried to get it to Larson, wouldn't go. Went over their head as Faith Paget clears it down the field. And it skipped over to this side. And will go out of bounds, be another throw-in for Mountain Home. Chamberlain throws it ahead right to Greenbrier. And Lady Panthers are on the counterattack. .36-12 to go in this ball game. As this one will go out of bounds, it'll be a throw-in for Mountain Home. Still 1-0 our score. Glad you're with us here this evening. As Blackwell trying to weave through traffic, Larson comes up with it. Now back to Blackwell. Kelsey Blackwell has got tripped up As be another throw in for Mountain Home. That was Kendra McLean who threw in. Now Greenbrier will throw in right at the 50-yard line. Again, our next broadcast on the Bomber Sports Network will be some Bomber baseball. Thursday afternoon at 4:30, first pitch gets the Farmington Cardinals. As this one's cleared out, Paget knocks that one out. It'll be a throw in for Greenbrier right at about the 5-yard line on the football field. As it's thrown in right in the center of the 18-yard box, cleared out by Mountain Home, and it'll roll back to the 40. As it's turned away, brought back to this side. And it'll go out of bounds and be a throw-in for Mountain Home. Came down to the head of a Lady Panther. Now comes back this way. Here's Willow Larson. Larson makes a girl miss. Kicks it ahead, tried to get it to Hinson. Hinson couldn't settle it down, and now the Lady Panthers come up with it. Skipped out of bounds, and we'll have a substitution coming in for the Lady Bombers. Exiting the ball game will be Abby Chamberlain. .33:20 to go in this ball game. Be a goal kick for the Lady Panthers. Finally settled down around the 35. It's kicked straight in the air. Mountain Home trying to clear it out. They finally do, sorta. As Bella Dotson had a handle on it, then lost it. Greenbrier trying to launch counterattack. Kelsey Blackwell sends it up. Bella Dotson trying to feed it ahead to Hinson. Hinson couldn't get there, it was broken up. Hinson trying to turn on the Jets, get there, and she's not able to. And it's settled down around the 30, and Greenbrier will launch the counter. Jaden Davis in pursuit. She'll scoop this one up, and she'll send it down the field. Got to describe what the keepers are wearing. The keeper for Greenbrier, as this one will sail out of bounds. Greenbrier's keeper wearing a bright neon green top and long pants, black shoes. Jaden Davis in her usual neon pink with a little bit of green. Pink socks. As she slides and scoops this one up. Punts this one down the field. Blackwell sends it to this side to Bella Dotson. And it's lost in the midfield. Corralled again by Mountain Home, and it was a handball. Bounced off the wrist of Kendra Medley, and it'll be a free kick for the Lady Panthers. 31 minutes to go in this ball game. Lady Bombers holding on to a 1-0 lead. We have a whistle. Still getting set up for the free kick. As they finally go, Hinson about snuck in there as Blackwell tried to clear it out, kicked straight up in the air. And it'll be a throw in for Greenbrier. And this one will go out of bounds finally. It'll be a goal kick. "30 minutes to go in this second half. Campbell Lance heads that one ahead as it's knocked down. Greenbrier still with a good attack going on the outside of the 18-yard box. Now a centering pass in front. Davis scoops it up, and she'll clear it out. Low kick. It'll roll down to the 40. There it's settled by Bella Dotson. Dotson will have it once again. Now she'll come back to this side and clear it down about 10 yards down the field. Willow Larson now, middle of the field. Tried to skip it ahead for Hinson. Hinson whiffed on it. Would have had a good look at it if she could have corralled that one. And this one will roll out of bounds, be a throw-in for Mountain Home. Mountain Home working quickly as it comes down to the head of a Greenbrier Panther. Here come the Lady Panthers. Now it's scooped back up by Mountain Home. And it'll roll out of bounds and be another throw-in for the Lady Bombers. Still 1-0 our score. Lady Bombers were able to tack on a goal by Lily Hinson. So the throw-in comes right down to Mountain Home. They'll set things up. Lady Bombers keeping 4 defenders back, not even across the 45. As this front of the net, Hinson whipped on it, thrown in front of the net, whipped on it again. They try to center it, but it'll go out of bounds. A golden opportunity to make this one 2-0, and the Lady Bombers could not cash in. Comes down to the head of Hinson. Hinson still in pursuit, mistimed it, heads it again. Still got it as it's set on net just over the crossbar. But a good attempt by Willow Larson. About 4 or 5 feet too high, and it's another goal kick for the Panthers. Blackwell sends it ahead. Greenbrier with the ball once again. Now it's bounced back down this way to Abigail Denebach. And it's pushed ahead, and Greenbrier will just knock this one out of bounds. It'll be a throw-in for Mountain Home, about even with the goal line on the football field. 26 minutes and some change to go. As it's sent down, Blackwell going to load up here over towards the net. The keeper's able to scoop this one up. Not a bad attempt. As over behind the Lady Panther bench, every substitution on their bench getting warmed up. So you'd have to imagine here in the final stage of this one, they'll try to keep fresh legs on the field. There'll be a throw-in for Mountain Home. As McLean will throw in right to a Lady Bomber and skip back to Faith Paget. Paget gets it ahead to Hinson. Hinson bounces back to Blackwell. Blackwell tried to launch it, but Lady Panther stepped in front of it. Here comes Greenbrier in the counterattack. Not a bad looking attack so far. Now back to the center of the field. Faith Paget clears it out, but now it's right to the outside of the field as she'll launch it way wide of the net. But not a bad attempt there by Greenbrier. A solid look at a scoring opportunity there. So Greenbrier will throw in. As it's knocked out of bounds and will be a goal kick for Mountain Home. Davis puts this one down and sends it down the field. Low kick, only went about 15 yards, but it's knocked out of bounds. Be a throw-in for Mountain Home as we have a whistle and a substitution coming in. High arcing throw-in, tried to get it to Henson. It's knocked out of bounds. Stays with Mountain Home. So they move about 20 yards to their left. And try to get a little extra distance there, but Mountain Home told to step back a couple yards. Chamberlain tried to snag an extra 5 or 6 yards on the throw-in, but the official told her to move back. Here comes Willow Larson. Larson in the middle of the field. Tried to skip it ahead. Now to the outside of the field. And they're not able to keep it in bounds. And it'll be a throw-in for Greenbrier. And Lady Bombers victorious in their last game as they took on Alma 2-1. On that one, a Bomber stand. They took a 2-0 lead and then gave up a goal about 15 minutes to go in the match, and that was all the scoring. Lady Bombers hung on for their first conference win, trying to go for their second in a row. So here it comes back to this side. And jostling forward in the midfield. Larson about came up with it, but now it's bounced to the far side, now to the middle. And now Greenbrier with a good opportunity as Mountain Home steps in front of it. Still trying to contain it. Down outside the 18-yard box, a centering pass as it's cleared out by Campbell Lance. And it'll be a throw-in for Greenbrier. And now it's bounced to the center of the field. It's going to go out of play over the goal. And it'll be a goal kick. And Jaden Davis kick it away. Comes Campbell Lance. Nobody got to it, right in front of the net. Mountain Home trying to clear it out. They do. It was a golden opportunity to score. As it's bounced again, Davis scoops this one up. Good save by Davis to keep this a 1-0 game. Under 22 minutes to go in this one. Lady Bombers clinging to a 1-0 lead as they're trying to get another one on the board. Henson in pursuit. Turned on the Jets. Here comes Lily Henson. Henson's got a good look at it as trying to center it. It's going to bounce off a toe of the Lady Panthers, and it'll be a corner kick for Mountain Home. So it'll be a corner kick for Mountain Home. Here they go. Centered in front of the net to go out of bounds once again. Another goal kick, or excuse me, another corner kick for Mountain Home. Here comes back to the center of the field. Henson came down to her boot, but Greenbrier was on top of it. As it's launched toward the goal, it's bounced away by the keeper, and it'll be another corner kick for Mountain Home. Here at the halfway point of the second half. 20-20 to go. This one's launched in front. Came down to the boot of a Lady Bomber, but it's bounced away. As this will be corralled on the side, and it's sent toward the goal, but it's sent wide of the goal. And it'll be a goal kick for Greenbrier as we've hit the 20-minute mark here in the second half. 2 Lady Bombers will come in now for substitutions, and 2 Lady Panthers. Looks like Bella Dotson come back in. And Kendra Medley. They'll return to the ball game. They'll be on the left side of the field. Oh, Mountain Home leading 1-0. As it's bounced right down to Larson. Larson trying to make something happen. Larson got a pretty decent look at it. She's going to turn back this way, try to use her right foot, and Greenbrier comes up with it. They come on the counterattack. It's knocked out of bounds. It's going to go. Well, the official pointed towards Mountain Home, but it's going to be a throw-in for Greenbrier. Campbell Lance punts this one out of danger. And it came right down to Larson, but it had some spin on it, and it bounces backwards. Now Henson onside. Henson's ahead of the defense. Good send down the field, Henson, and it's sent right to the keeper, who keeps this a 1-0 game. And a whistle and a free kick has been awarded. Or actually a throw-in, excuse me. As the throw-in never got inbounds. So it's going to go back to Greenbrier at the spot of where the previous throw-in was. Oh, bounce down to Larson, back to Paget. Paget mishandled it, knocked her over, and it's going to be a free kick. So a chance for Greenbrier to do something here. It'll be a free kick right on the 20-yard line. As this is Sarah Bradley taking the free kick. Lady Bombers setting up their wall just outside the 18-yard box, exactly 10 yards away. And they're telling Dotson to move back. She's got to be 10 yards away from the free kick. Here's the free kick from Bradley. Bradley over towards the net, headed by a Lady Bomber, bounce back down. Davis trying to come in there, and she picks it up and keeps it a 1-0 game. Still a 1-0 our score, 17 minutes to go. And this one is out of bounds. It'll stay with Greenbrier. Get back to the 40 now. Along the far sideline. Lady Bombers have this one bottled up. Campbell Lance tried to step in there. Paget knocks it away. Good job by the Lady Bombers to step in front of that one. It was Kenna Medley who broke that one up. Now Willow Larson will just knock this one. Tried to knock it out of bounds, just miskicked it. And Abby Chamberlain jostling for position. They're going to say it was a throw. It's out of bounds. It'll be a throw-in for Greenbrier. Set in front of the net, toward the goal, and it's just high. Another good opportunity for Greenbrier, and they can't cash in. So Mountain Home trying to get their second win in 5A West Conference play. Another throw in for Mountain Home as we're at the 15-minute mark. Another substitution coming in. Of course, Lady Bombers will be back in action Friday. They'll take on Siloam Springs back at Bomber Stadium. Boys and girls will be back in action. First game of the day will be a JV game at 4 o'clock. Don't know who plays first, but we'll get the information out to you. And it's thrown right to a Greenbrier Panther. It goes out of bounds, and it's going to stay with Greenbrier. The throw-in comes down to the head of the Lady Panther, but Paget heads it out of bounds. Big Greenbrier throw-in with about 14 and some change left in the ballgame. Lady Bombers still clinging to a 1-0 lead. And a whistle and a foul is called. A little ticky-tack. And it's going to be a free kick for Greenbrier. It's going to be about at the 20. Actually, it's going to be a free kick for Mountain Home. So Blackwell kicked this one away from the 20. Low kick right down to the boot of a Panther. Now it's skipped back. Greenbrier trying to work it around. Sent over towards the net. Davis picks it up. Good job by Jaden Davis tonight. Got the clean sheet going and the shutout. As she skips this one down the field. She's had a good evening this evening with punts on goal kicks. And it'll go out of bounds, be another throw in for Greenbrier. So it's bounced in the air. It'll stay with Greenbrier. Actually, it's going to be a throw-in for Mountain Home. The official keeps signaling the wrong direction. As this one will be with Mountain Home. Approaching 9 o'clock here local time in Greenbrier. As this throw-in was high arcing by Kendra Medley. Still 1-0 our score. 12:20 to go in this one. Bounce to the far side. Lady Bombers in pursuit. Kendra McLean. And it'll go out of bounds and be a throw-in for Mountain Home. So substitution. Kendra Medley will exit the ball game. She is replaced by Dee Martinez. Still throwing for Mountain Home as we're under the 12-minute mark. Still 1-0 our score. Lily Hinson responsible for the goal. Bounce back to this side. Along the far side. Out of bounds. Going to be a throw-in for Mountain Home. Good opportunity here. As here's the throw-in. It goes right to Hinson. Hinson stepped in at the last second. Not a bad idea as Martinez will come back to it and settle it down as it's kicked out of bounds. Going to be way close to the corner flag. It's going to stay with Mountain Home and be a throw-in. I guess it's a throw-in for Greenbrier. Looked like last touched a Lady Panther. $10:50 to go in this one. Hinson steps in front of the pass. Hinson on the run now, trying to lead it ahead. Now she's using her speed. Hinson along the outside, launched toward the net, right to the hands of the keeper to keep this one a 1-0 game. Hinson could have taken one more step toward the goal, but a better look, but not a bad idea. Greenbrier with the throw in as we're now at the 10-minute mark in this one. Lance tried to clear it out. Bounced off a Lady Panther, gets it to about the 50 where it comes down to a Panther. Skip to the middle of the field. Now Campbell Lance will just kick this one out of bounds. It'll be a throw in for Greenbrier. Still 1-0 our score. Mountain Home on the high side. Comes Lily Henson. $9:15 to go in this one. Lady Bomber still clinging to a 1-0 lead. 9:10 to go now. Throwing for Mountain Home as it's kicked out of bounds and stays with Mountain Home. Approaching the end of this one. And glad you're with us here on the Bomber Sports Network. Watching wherever you may be on your phone, tablet, PC, or smart TV, a whistle, and be a free kick for Greenbrier. Sure to hit the subscribe button and hit the little bell on there, and you'll get a notification anytime we go live. So you can stay up to date. All things Mountain Home Bombers. As this is sent to the 30, now bounce back to the middle of the field. Sizing up a shot, didn't take it. Now it's bounced over to the 18-yard box. Now it's cleared out. Here they come. Here come the Lady Bombers ahead. Nobody ahead of that one. And the keeper for Greenbrier stepping way out to the 20 to clear that one out. Still 1-0 our score as we're under 8 to go now. And we'll have a whistle. And a free kick is called. Be a free kick for the Lady Panthers to be at the 31-yard line. Bounce back to the middle. Here comes Lily Henson. Lily Henson kicking it ahead, trying to outrun everyone else. Fastest girl on the field. 2-on-1 right now. Here's Lily Henson. Skipped ahead, centering pass. Nobody there in front of the net. If she's onside, it's a goal. And it is a goal. Lady Bombers lead 2-0. It was a 2-on-1. The Lady Bombers played it perfectly. And that might have put this one away. Lady Bomber goal was scored by Sarah Jenkins. Well, Henson did a great job clearing it out to herself, using her speed, and Jenkins did a great job to stay onside. And it's 2-0 Mountain Home. So Lady Bombers can feel it now. They got to lock down for the next 7 minutes to put this one away. Sarah Jenkins credited with the goal. Give Lily Henson the assist. And an excellent night for Lily. She's got a goal and an assist. Blackwell punts it ahead. Bella Dotson in pursuit. Sarah Jenkins, a freshman. One of the many good freshmen for this Lady Bomber Ball Club. A bright future ahead. And it'll go out of bounds. Be a throw in for Greenbrier. .608 to go in the ball game. Mountain Home with a 2-0 lead. And a whistle. Be a throw in for Greenbrier. Under 6 to go. Greenbrier trying to settle it down. Larson comes up with it. Lady Bombers trying to tack on a goal to get the full allotment of tiebreaker points, tiebreaker goals, if you will. It's all big tiebreakers goal differential. Stepping in there was Kelsey Blackwell. So Mountain Home stepping back in their formation. They've moved more defenders back to try to hang on to this 2-0 lead. Under 5 to go now. Greenbrier pushing ahead. Suffocating defense by the Lady Bombers. They weren't able to clear it. Still on the outside of the 18-yard box as it's kicked out of bounds. And it'll be a goal kick for Mountain Home. Jaden Davis taking her sweet time, trying to run off some of this clock as we're approaching the 4-minute mark. Still 2-0 our score. Lady Bombers going the wrong way. Got to stay out of trouble here. Ambulance will just clear this one out, and it'll be a throw-in for Greenbrier. About even with the 10-yard line. Now even with the 5-yard line. And it's a goal for Greenbrier. So the lead is cut down to 1. Oh, 2-1 our score. With 3:40 to go. Played nearly 160 minutes of soccer this evening. That's the first goal scored by Greenbrier. As we'll have some substitutions coming in with 3:40 to go. The Lady Bombers will have the ball. 3:31 to go. 2-1 Mountain Home. As it's kicked away, Greenbrier had it. Now Mountain Home has it once again. Willow Larson will clear it down. A high arcing kick, bounced down about the 20. As tried to punch it ahead. They whiffed on it twice. Around the 18-yard box. Here they come in front of the net, scooped up by the keeper. And we're approaching the 3-minute mark. And a whistle and an infraction is called. .245 to go. Mountain Home clinging to this 2-1 lead. Hinson steps in as she stepped back further on defense. It'll be a throw-in for Greenbrier. Crowd starting to heat up here in Greenbrier. And it's cleared out back to about the 35. It'll be a throw-in for Greenbrier with 2:20 to go. And it's knocked away. It'll stay with Greenbrier. Another throw-in about the 15 or so. Actually, it's about down near the, it's about the 15 or 20. It's thrown in. Now we're at 2 minutes. As it's sent over toward the goal, Jaden Davis comes in and makes the catch. And she'll clear this one away, waiting for all the Panthers to go away. As we're under 2 minutes now here in Greenbrier. Two to 1 our score. Mountain Home got a second goal off the foot of Sarah Jenkins. And then Greenbrier got one to cut the lead to 1. Greenbrier trying to launch another one over toward Davis. Davis couldn't handle it. Now it's outside the 18-yard box. Greenbrier trying to settle it back down. 80 seconds to go. It'll be a throw-in for the Lady Panthers. Oh, Greenbrier throwing in now. Close to a minute now in front of the 18-yard box to the center of the field. Davis comes up with it, and it's another save, and there's 60 seconds to go. Davis punts this one away. Good punt by her. They're going to have to return pretty quickly. Under a minute to go now. Greenbrier with the ball. Mountain Home trying to hold on to this 2-1 victory. They do not want to give up the equalizer, as this one's cleared out by Hinson, and it'll be a throw-in. 35 seconds remaining. They're directing traffic. They had 2 girls going for the throw-in. They told her to get back on the field. Bounce back to the middle. It's kicked out by Martinez. Down to 20 seconds. And it'll be a throw-in as we had another ball on the field as it's set to the center of the field. Larson comes up with it. Down to 10 as Larson will just roll it out of bounds. Down to 8, down to 7. This will be the final chance for Greenbrier. Thrown into the center of the field, the 18-yard box. 2 and 1, and that's going to do it. That's going to do it. The clock has ran out. They're still playing, and they finally called it. The Lady Bombers have come to Greenbrier and taken a 2-1 victory over the Lady Panthers of Greenbrier. And that's going to do it tonight from Greenbrier. The final score, Lady Bombers win this one 2-1. That's 2 straight wins for them in 5A West play. They defeated Alma the last game, and they will head to Bomber Stadium Friday evening as they'll take on the Panthers of Siloam Springs. So again, our final score from Greenbrier, Lady Bombers win 2-1. Bomber boys won 2-0, and the JV boys lost 2-0. So that's going to do it tonight from Greenbrier. We thank you for being with us here this evening. Again, the final score, Lady Bombers win this one 2-1. Again, our next broadcast will be Bomber Baseball Thursday evening as they will head to Farmington to take on the Cardinals. First pitch of that one at 4:30. We hope you join us here. So again, I am Dylan Conley on behalf of the Mountain Home School District and the Bomber Sports Network. We wish you a good rest of your evening, and